What's up, everybody? It's good to be back. It's August. You know what that means. Fall camp is here. We're already 3 practices in. I know I've been gone. I was actually on my honeymoon up until about a day and a half ago. Just got back. Needed that first day to recover because that jet lag is no joke. Hawaii is 6 hours behind Miami time, but I am here. I've been you can ask my wife. I've been itching to get back on here to talk some Canes the last couple of days, and here I am. So let's do it. We'll get some, yes, Hero 1980. We'll get some of the negative stuff out of the way. Thank you guys for the congratulations. Yes, I appreciate it. Yeah, got married back in. I don't, broadcast my personal stuff, but yeah, got married back in February. And yeah, we just took the honeymoon. Took 6 days in Hawaii. It was awesome. I'd never been. She had been 3 times. It was her 4th time. She loved it, as did I. It was pretty dope. Definitely will be going back probably next year. But yes, let's get this negative stuff out of the way. Tyler Harrell supposedly tweaked something, came up limping after a play, had to limp off to the sideline. Yeah, it sucks. I feel like every camp, it's inevitable. Some key player hurts something, and it's gone on for years. Tell me if I'm wrong. Yes, I know it's football, and you're going to lose a key guy here and there in camp. Every team does. I don't know about every team. Some teams get lucky and they're clean all the way through. But I just think back to past years. Mark Walton. It wasn't in camp. It was middle of the season. Mark Walton, who was the heart and soul of that 2017 offense. A lot of people forget about him. First couple of games looked like a first rounder. We lose him for the year. I'm just going at random here. Ahman Richards would have been the best wide receiver in America. Not only lose him for the season, lose him for his career, which was really bizarre. You don't see that very often. Who else? Let me go back further. Eric Winston. Friggin' in 2004, we had an elite offensive line anchored by Eric Winston at left tackle. Gets hurt in that Georgia Tech game, week 3, week 4. Lose him for the season. In my opinion, cost us maybe not a national championship, a national title contention. That was that last year of Brock Berlin that we ended up beating Florida in the Peach Bowl. I thought you have Winston the entire year. It could have been a different offense. Who else? I'm sure more will come to mind. But last year, Trevante Citizen. Not that it would have mattered. The offense was horrific last year, but it would have been nice to see him as a freshman. But anyway, I can't help but think, man, maybe there's something to that whole Indian burial ground thing at Hard Rock Stadium. Maybe they are cursed. But then I keep remembering, no, the Marlins won 2 World Series in that stadium. So that's not an excuse. Okay, so all that being said, hopefully Tyler Harrell, him limping off the field as opposed to having to be carted off the field, is a good sign. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Hopefully he, it's something, it's precautionary. He pulled something, he tweaked something. You know how it is. Give those things a couple of weeks and you're back to normal. The whole staff, I'm sure, is holding their breath on that one. And, they'll do their due diligence. If they need to be careful with them, they'll be careful with them. The good thing is, yes, he had the potential to be wide receiver 1, but the good thing is we've seen some progress from that wide receiver room. We've seen some new blood come in, like, a Ray Joseph, a Shamar Kirk, Xavier Restrepo coming back healthy. Jacoby George and Kobe Young both getting themselves in solid shape, looking good out there. I've heard really good things about Jacoby George. He's very well-rounded. Probably the most well-rounded of all the receivers. He's got a little more giddy up than Kobe Young does. Kobe Young's more of a big possession guy, but he shed some fat. He looks really good. So, it's yes, Mitch, good point. Yeah, we can get through the first 5 weeks without Tyler if needed. So we got a deep wide receiver room right now, and that's why you have depth. Something like this happens, you breathe a sigh of relief and tell yourself you're still okay. But, it sucks. It does suck. Hopefully, I'm praying it's nothing serious. Hopefully it's not his bad foot. But again, if you can get Tyler Harrell back, that would be a major shot in the arm for this offense. A guy that can blow the top off the defense. We need more of those. Mario Cristobal and this staff are very keen on bringing those guys in. The first thing Cristobal noticed when he got here is, man, this team needs to get bigger, stronger, and faster real quick. And that was priority number one, if you noticed. Length for certain guys has improved at certain positions. Cornerback especially has improved. Overall size and frame, weight, speed, strength, all those things have improved tenfold on certain positions. So, it sucks. I was mad about it for a few minutes. I'm like, man, we can't have nice things. But you know what? Hey, I think we're going to be all right. Hopefully, again, the thing with Harrell's not serious. I don't know yet. I don't think anybody really knows the severity of the situation, but let's see what happens. Harrell will be back, I think. I hope so. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Mitch, thank you. I do that stuff still. New job is taken. Hey, no problem. Whenever you want to do it, Mitch and I are working on something for the show. So, hey, whenever you can, bro. Whenever you can. Let's see. Do you envision the team using a swing tackle in short yard situations as a tight end? Where do I get information on tailgate parties? I believe the easiest way is reach out to either Miami Flow on Twitter or Max on Twitter with the Miami Flow Show. Either one of them can give you the information. They can also give you the information about the Discord. You can get your information through that as well. So I would reach out to them through Twitter. That'll probably be your quickest bet. Doing good. Yeah, Harrell. I know, sucky news, but he may not be hurt long term, but we'll see. Yeah. Just because somebody tweaks something and they're being precautious, kind of like what's happening with Elijah Arroyo right now, I think it's strictly precaution. He looked really good first two practices. You didn't really see him. They kind of limited him in the third practice. Elijah Arroyo, I think, is going to be very key to this offense. If this offense wants to take it to the next level, having an elite tight end like him, who I think has first round potential. Josh Pate was even talking about him on his national show. Listed as 6'4", 235, 240, which is a joke. If you stood next to Elijah Arroyo, as I got to meet him. The man he looks more like 6'6" to me. He does not look no 6'4". Chase Smith, who was next to him, is 6'4". Okay. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm almost 6'1", and I was looking up at Chase, and I was looking up even higher at Elijah. Like, that dude is massive. And Riley Williams, just as big. Oh my God, Riley Williams is a monster. I cannot wait when it's his time. Right after Elijah, goes to the league and plays on Sundays. I can't wait. But yes, thank you. And Canadians, please let's get the likes up as you guys coming into the chat. Please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, so one more negative thing to cover. I did hear about drops in this last practice. Look, not every practice is going to be perfect. That's why you have this many practices. Look, we have 3 or 4 weeks until kickoff. I don't know how many. It's like 15, 20 practices, something like that. Look, you got to iron out some kinks. That's what practice is for. Yeah, drops are not something, especially as a Hurricanes fan, you want to hear about, but you're not going to get through every practice super clean. Drops hadn't been an issue until today. It didn't seem to be an issue in the spring, so that's promising. And look, at the end of the day, drops are up here. It's mental. It is 100. I don't care what anyone says, technique, whatever. Dropping the football is 100% mental. And a lot of time, more often than not, I know it pisses the fans off. It pisses me off when I see it, especially when a guy's wide open. It's not because the player doesn't care. It's not because they've been slacking. More often than not, honestly, it's because they're putting too much pressure on themselves. And that leads me to, let me adjust my camera a little bit here. Not show so much of the couch. All right. That leads me into something Ahmad Moten said that was very, in one of his interviews, that was very promising. It was good to hear. I know Donald covered it on his show. I think he was the one interviewing him, actually. And Ahmad Moten at defense, one of our defensive tackles, he came out and he said, look, last year we were playing for the coaches, basically playing not to get yelled at. I think, we've all had those jobs. We've all been on those teams where really, I think being a little too scared of the coach is not a good thing, because then you're just playing to not piss the coach off or not piss off your boss. To me, that's not the right reason to do things. If you're doing it like Ahmad Moten said, now we're playing for each other, that's different. And that's something that was very common. That was a common thread in all the great Hurricane teams in the past. They played for each other. They were self-policed. You almost didn't need the coach there half the time. All right. They just put you they put the system in place. They put you in a position to succeed. At the end of the day, the player has to play. The player has to go and execute. Oh, and I'm sorry, Hustle Harder, I didn't answer your first question. Do you envision the team using a swing tackle in short yard situations? I don't think I see. I mean, that might be a little trick play that they pull out maybe once this year. I'm remembering that play by Jason Fox when he was our left tackle. It was like a left tackle screen. I think that's what you're talking about, right? That left tackle screen against FSU that we scored on. Yeah, I don't see that being a part of the offense. Brashard Smith, Tavon Austin comp. He certainly has the ability. I can't wait to see Brashard Smith in this offense. I can't. That's another guy I can't wait to see. And he's someone, when I mentioned the receivers, Ray, Kobe, Jacoby, he's another guy I forget because there's so many. Brashard Smith, he's going to be a problem. Sorry, Christian. John, what player do you feel could be a surprise starter come week one? A surprise starter. I mean, this wouldn't be a surprise. It wouldn't shock me. I don't think it would shock any fans if the offensive line comes out and it's Francis at right tackle. The guy that I've been saying for a while, I've been saying it since we signed him, and day one of practice confirmed it. Jadais, people told me it was Jadais Richard, then Jadais Richard. Now I'm hearing Jadis Richard. I don't know what his name is. We'll say Jadis Richard for now. Apparently that's what it is, according to coach. But ever since he came on board, I said, that dude is taking someone's job. I said it months ago. And I think he's day one starter. Him and Devontae Brown. I'll go position by position in a second. But I think Jadis Richard, I think from Vanderbilt, I think is going to be starting. John, was the last time you heard anything about Michael Redding? I had to look him up to see if he was still on the team. As of now, yeah, from what I know, he's still on the team. Yeah, I haven't really heard a lot from him. I know he's very important to that room in a way, kind of like how Udonis Haslem is to the Heat. He's very smart, very knowledgeable. I think he's majoring in like something really complicated, like electrical engineering or something like that. He's a really smart dude, very mature. And let's not forget, he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. So he's a guy that could, get on the field, maybe more as a backup role and make a few plays here and there. But I don't know. There's a lot of guys in front of him. Coach KB, you'll get the young men right. I agree with you. I have no doubt he will. But at the end of the day, it's on the players to step on. Once they step onto that grass, it's not on the coach anymore. It's on the player to get the job done. And I think we have more leadership on the field. I heard something the other day, the coaches coach and players play. And for some reason, it hit me a little different after seeing the debacle that was last year. I'm like, you know what? You're right. The coaches can just put you in a position to succeed. You have to go out and do it as a player. And what's been missing is not leadership, because we certainly have good leadership on the sideline. What's been missing is leadership on the field. Okay? Hopefully we got some more of that on this roster. With 42 new players, I hope so. John, will you be on every week now? I will be on multiple times a week. I'm going to be back on tomorrow. I will be doing a regular Saturday morning, kind of like a pregame show, cafecito and all. because I'll need it to wake my ass up. We will be having a guest tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for that. It should be, I haven't locked in the time. Probably I'm shooting for around 11 a.m. I don't want to like step on the toes of other shows that are on tomorrow, but I will definitely be on tomorrow morning. I'll let you guys know about that. Will JB lose his red shirt this year? Hopefully Dawson has a better game plan to use him than Gaddis. I'm guessing you're talking about Ja'Carri Brown. Ja'Carri's playing. They're going to have some packages for him for sure. I don't think he's redshirting this year at all. I think the more you play him, the better, because he still, I think, has 2 more years of eligibility after that to be the starter. And then, when it's Emery's turn, it's his turn, or whatever freshman we get between now and then, that might look even better. You got to recruit the position every year. But no, I think he will lose his red shirt this year. I don't think. I don't think they're going to keep Ja'Carri under wraps. I think he's going to play. All right. So, to my coverage, the stuff I wanted to go over, my observations over the last couple of practices. Positive development here. I've been saying, I've been kind of keeping it to myself. James Williams, you're a great safety. Why move him? Why mess with that? But I was like, man, I need to see some packages where he's at linebacker or he's like an edge rusher or something, just to mix it up. He's so versatile. Finally, we get word that James Williams will be taking some reps, at least now in practice, to see how it looks. But it looks like they're going to be using him a little bit more now as an outside linebacker in some packages. I love this. I can't wait to see it. I need to see it. This is a big time plus for the defense, in my opinion. This is one of those few guys that his talent, his ability is through the roof, unlimited. There's nothing he can't do. He looks physically imposing, 6'5", 6'5 and a half. 215, 220 pounds, could probably still add a little bit more to his frame. Very fast. He's got to work on the angles he takes a little bit on tackles. He's got to, clean up the tackling itself, the wrapping up. He throws that shoulder a little bit too much. That shoulder's healthy now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Lance Guidry draws up, what he's cooking up with this elite super athlete that we have on defense. So that's a huge positive. I talked about Jadis Richard earlier in the show. I think he's going to start. He's coming to take someone's job. He was not a depth piece. That dude is coming to be CV1. Okay. Got him, Jaden Davis, Coach Cristobal mentioned by name. He's looking real good. Let's see who else. TC, he mentioned by name. He's doing some work. Daryl Porter took a big step in the spring, so that's another guy that adds to the depth. Devontae Brown, who had a very, very good spring, very likely, if he keeps playing the way he is, will be the other starter opposite Jadis Richards. So looking at that, man, that cornerback room looks deep. Yes, it's a lot of portal guys. Again, Cristobal got here and said, we need to get bigger, stronger, and faster. I think he saw that cornerback room and he was like, nope, reset. I need to flip this room in a hurry, because when you're not good at corner, guess what? That's not a leak in the dam. That's a big old crack. Like the water's gushing through the dam. I mean, you basically have no defense. If guys are just getting free releases and getting wide open right away, it almost doesn't matter. Your pass rush, other things, everything else falls apart. You need solid cornerback play that can at least give you 3 seconds for that D line and that blitz to get to the quarterback, and then you're wreaking havoc. But you need those corners to lock somebody down at least those first few seconds. That room looks solid. And then, of course, you got the freshman coming in, Robert Stafford, Damari Brown, brother of Devontae Brown. Damari Brown's elite, very elite. I mean, another dude that I saw in person, he's listed as 6'1". I believe he's a little bigger than that. My older brother's 6'2". I know what 6'2" looks like. I've seen Damari in person. I think that dude is 6'2" and long. He has a huge wingspan. Physically, I mean, he looks like a junior already. Damari looks to me like an elite SEC corner that's like almost NFL ready. Physically, is he NFL ready? No, of course not. He's a freshman, but very promising. I look at that room and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see why Chris Graves decided to hit the portal. There are a lot of guys in that room. And you know what? You hadn't really heard Chris Graves' name in a while, as far as guys that are making noise and spraying and things like that. I know he was putting in a lot of work. He and Jaden Harris. Jaden Harris is a guy I really like that we've interviewed before. And, I'm rooting for him. He's putting in the work. I know he is. I hope he sticks around. I'm not saying I heard anything. I'm just, they came in the same class. I hope we lost Graves. I hope he at least sticks around. But man, you see that room and I'm like, I didn't read or hear a lot about Graves. So, it could be that maybe he wasn't quite developing fast enough, because really with guys like that in the room, you got to develop in a hurry. And maybe it wasn't developing quite quick enough. I don't know. That's just speculation from me. Could be wrong on that. Maybe, time will tell the truth in that situation. Maybe he just didn't want to be here. Who knows? I don't know. But that's what it seems like to me. There was just way too many guys, way too much talent, way too much depth that were at the moment in front of him. So he wasn't going to have much of an opportunity to play. So, I can kind of see why that happened. Before I go to the O-line, let's see some questions. Does Reed have any contact with Miami anymore? Just curious. I have no idea. I do know that the lines of communication are way more open between Coach Cristobal and former players. I was listening to, the Dan Celio interview the other day. And he says, whenever I text Coach, he texts me back. When Al Golden was the coach, that was not the case. So, there's a lot more communication happening with the alumni and Cristobal and Zoe. So that's good to see. I'm sure Reed does have contact with him. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, but I'm not 100% sure of the answer to that question. Text Terry, I heard Stafford is fast, like surprisingly fast. Heard or seen anything like that? Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all, that he's fast. He's a hell of an athlete. He's just, at a dog. Like, I love his attitude. He plays with a mean streak. We seem to have more of those guys that play, that they have that nasty in them. You see it in their tape. I need Latson to step up. Whoever decides to step up, look, in the wide receiver room, that's a good transition. We'll go to the wide receivers. In the wide receiver room, I think, honestly, it's going to be the Kobe and Jacoby show. They seem to be the most, solid starting caliber guys. With Harrell, again, hopefully it's a minor thing with him. And Shamar Kirk coming up the rear, I think they're going to be wide receiver 3 and 4. And, you got the leadership of X coming back, going to be in the slot. But he says he's, working on cross-training a little bit, playing on the outside, which we know he can do. The one touchdown we scored against Alabama a couple years ago, X beat that corner over the top. So I think with his route running ability, I think X can kind of play all over, which means I think they're making room for Ray to play in the slot more, to get more snaps. That dude's going to see the field right away. But, yeah, if Latson also steps up, that's just more depth. That's great. That's more competition. Latson is a bust. Hate to say it, but he's not going to be a major contributor. You could be right, Mike, but I hope we're not. I hope he makes some plays. I'm rooting for him. He wears that Canes uniform, so I'm rooting for him. Let's see what else. All right. So wide receivers. Yeah, that's what I see happening. A lot of Ray in the slot. They're going to do whatever they can to utilize his talents, because he's another guy that's fast. And then after that, we got offensive line. So some positives and a little bit of negatives as well. I'll touch on that in a second. But the positives, that I've heard is this is one of those positions that the size just across the board is elite. A lot of 6'5", 6'6", a lot of 320, 330, 340 of, but like good solid weight. Zion, one of the few negatives. It seems like he's not quite ready just yet. I think some of it is precautionary. If we kicked off tomorrow night against Miami of Ohio, I think he would certainly try to play. He probably could, but I think they're being very, very careful with him because they know how good he can be. Is he first round? I don't think he's a first round guy, but I certainly think he's an NFL guy. He's a dude that you can stick at left tackle, and you can generally not worry. You could feel pretty good about him at left tackle. You feel pretty confident, TVD dropping back, that he's not going to get hit, that he's going to give up his 3 seconds to throw the ball. But Jalen Rivers, I think, has a higher ceiling. He has elite size as well. While Zion really it took him a couple of years, more like 3 years, to really beef up to that 310 mark. I mean, Jalen Rivers breathes and he's 340. He's legit big. 6'5", was 344 pounds last year around this time, heading into fall camp. He's shaved some of that bad weight off. He's now down to like 330. He could move a little bit more, a little more agile. Since day one, that dude, his future was at tackle. He's got the body, the wingspan. We have not had elite size at tackle in a while that I can remember. They tried to push Navon Donaldson out there. Didn't really work out. He was better as a guard. But if the offensive line that they trot out is left to right, Jalen Rivers, God, I'm blanking on his name, Alabama guy, Javion Cohen at left guard, Matt Lee at center. You got pass. I'm forgetting his name too, and the freshman that played last year, and then you got Francis Mauigoa at right tackle. With those 5, I'm good. Inez Cooper, right? That's the right guard. So if you give me Rivers, Cohen, Lee, Cooper, who's 6'5", 6'6". Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tattoo Harry Cooper. Inez Cooper, 6'5", 6'6", 340, and still looks lean somehow at 340. I don't know how it's possible. And Mauigoa, elite, future first rounder. Yes, he's a true freshman, but he's not your typical true freshman. I'm good with that starting O-line, honestly. And then offensive tackle, we're looking pretty deep. Tommy Kinsler, who also has freakish size, another 6'5", 6'6" guy, 300-plus pounds just naturally. Nimble feet, looks really good, taking reps at tackle, which is saying something because we're pretty deep on the edge, if you remember. Ruben Bain, Nigel Kelly, guys like that. Sorry for the darkness, guys. Hang on. Oh, that actually helped. Okay. I feel much better with our depth at tackle because I was a little surprised to see Tommy Kinsler. I thought he was going to be more of a guard. He's going to play. It seems like he's going to play tackle. Matthew McCoy, very under the radar. We talked about him last year. He would have gotten reps at tackle last year, but he got hurt. He was one of those many injuries. You got Okunlola at tackle. You got a rotation of like 5 guys who can play, and that's if Zion's not healthy. It's 6, I think, if Zion is healthy. So even if Zion's not ready to go, I feel pretty good about our offensive line. Now, backup center, I think right now it's Dennis or Sagapolo, whoever. You got those guys. You brought in Luke Cristobal for depth because I think you needed it. I'm not crazy about the depth at guard right now. I got to be honest. I know Frankie Tinalau was probably going to be one of those guys to plug in at guard. And, they cross-train guys, so in a pinch, you can move somebody over, but ideally you cross-training guards, tackles, and centers, people just think, oh, they all block. They all do the same thing, essentially. Yes and no. It's not that easy, okay? Guards, tackles, and centers, they are different positions, okay? They all have their things that they need to do and their responsibilities, and they're different, okay? So not crazy about the depth in the middle. So praying for health there. Cohen, Lee specifically, Ades Cooper. Tripp, yes. Tripp could be a future center. He's a little dinged up right now. Hopefully that's minor. Tin-Alau's a little dinged up. But if they can get ready by some time in the season and, two more guys. I mean, Tripp is more like a 6'3" kind of guy. But Tin-Alau's 6'5", 320-pound plus monster. Please, those guys need to get healthy because in the middle, we're a little thin. At tackle, we're good. I think that the depth is pretty solid there. Experience is not all there, but the depth is solid. All right, so that's the offensive line. Defensive line. Branson Dean drawing rave reviews. That's good to see because the defensive tackle position needs a clear-cut number 2 to step up. You got Leonard Taylor, who's hired a personal chef. He's really working on his, adding good weight. He's up to 310 pounds now, supposedly. He, supposedly looks quicker. That dude is he's putting in the work. He's taking it seriously. He has first-round potential. Leonard Taylor, who inexplicably had a very low snap count last year. I don't think that's going to be the case this coming season. I think he's going to be heavily relied upon, and that's fine. A guy like that, he's one of those guys that's, he's one of your horses that you can rely on to take a heavy snap count. Ahmad Moten, I'm very excited about. He could be that next guy. He's another dude that physically looks very, very imposing. Love his interviews, too. He always has great things to say. Very intelligent young man. Very strong, explosive. He flashed really well in the spring game. Let me tell you, he made some nice plays where he was lined up at nose tackle even at some points, getting double teamed, and he was just driving those blockers back into the quarterback's face. I like Ahmad Moten a lot. Branson Dean, again, veteran who undersized, but he's more of a pass rushing, disruptive kind of D tackle. And look, you're seeing more of those D tackles that are undersized. Kalijah Cansey, Aaron Donald, he's a D tackle. He's 6'1", 275, something like that, but Hall of Famer. You're seeing more of those guys. People are starting to realize that, it's not always about the size. It's about how disruptive you can be. Branson Dean is disruptive. I will get to your questions in a second, guys. I know I got to catch up on some of them, but I'll just finish up on the D-line really quick. Joshua Horton, another guy that's that name's been thrown out there. I was listening to, it was Cam Underwood on the Mark Rogers Show. Shout out to them. Been a big fan of those guys for years. And he, who has covered recruiting for years, looked at Moten and looked at his tape, and he was like, that's a 5-star dude with a 4-star rating. I don't know how he wasn't a 5-star. He somehow slipped under the radar, but Joshua Horton is for real. He said he has all the measurables of being a 5-star. I know he's freaky athletic. There's that video that went viral of him dunking a basketball. So when a D tackle can jump like that, that's something. So I feel a little better about the D tackle position. Hopefully Jake Lichtenstein can come in and provide some quality snaps. You got a little something cooking at D tackle there. It's not where it needs to be yet. I need someone else. Also, this is a big if. If Ahmad Moten and Branson Dean step up, I'm hoping those two guys are the dudes that, with them two and Taylor, you got a nice little 3-man rotation. I think we'll be all right. But they do need to step up. It's their turn, and they got to make it happen. On the edge, I think we're solid. Nigel Lee Kelly, I think, is going to start. Right now, I think some people have Chance in front of him on the depth chart. I like Chance. I think he's shown some progress, especially since Mario Cristobal got here. I think Jason Taylor's worked well with him and done some good things with him. Jafari Harvey as well. They're veterans. And Chance, look, he was I want to say like a mid to high 4-star recruit. Jafari Harvey was a high, like elite 4-star recruit. So it's not like they can't play. Oh, and Thomas Gore. Yes, thank you, Al. Thomas Gore is another guy who can provide a little bit of depth. Undersized. He's like 6 feet tall, but he was at Georgia Southern. He was extremely disruptive. So there's potential there. Pretty sure Miami's trying to flip a Penn State player or two as well. Miami is working on flipping a bunch of guys. So, so we'll see what happens there. We'll probably talk a little bit more recruiting on tomorrow's show. Let's see. Defensive line. I think I covered everybody. Oh, Ruben Bain, another guy that I tend to forget about when I talk about defensive line. I talk about, Nigeria Kelly, Jafari, Akeem Mesidor, who might be the most well-rounded defensive lineman, especially defensive end. He could even come inside a tackle on some NASCAR packages. But yeah, you forget about Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain is going to play. Ruben Bain is going to play, not start, but he's going to play day one. LT hiring a chef. That man is thinking about his future. Yeah, no, he's investing in himself. He's taking it seriously. I think somebody told me, hey, this is your junior year. It's your time. It's do or die. To be honest, Cristobal is AI or Terminator. He never sleeps. He really doesn't, man. Let's see what else I wanted to cover. I'm going to stay on maybe 5 more minutes. Let's see. You talked about Judeus. You talked about the O-line, the D-line. Talked about Zion. D tackle, someone needs to emerge. Yes. Linebacker. We'll finish on this. Linebacker is a position that, while I think player development and player scouting, like identifying the right guys out of high school, has been the biggest issue at the University of Miami. Player development and player scouting. Now, when you talk about linebacker specifically, I think it's been less about development and more just flat out recruiting, just finding linebackers that are University of Miami caliber linebackers. We've had trouble. Our last head coach, for whatever reason, was very stubborn when it came to going out and recruiting elite linebackers. There was that one offseason where we're like, man, we got to add at least 2 guys from the portal. He added Zippo. He added nothing. Why? I don't know. Ever since that Shaq, Pinckney, McLeod class, that really, you can argue that Al Golden did a lot of the work on the front end to get them in the boat. But now we're starting to see some change, and it was immediate. I mean, this staff hit the ground running when it came to finding athletic, big, fast linebackers. Malik Bryant, yes, Ian Coleman. Malik Bryant might change the whole situation on the linebacker depth chart. Yeah, he could, because that's a dude that could very likely play in the middle and get some snaps in the middle this year. Because for now, Mauigoa, Francisco, big brother Mauigoa, he's going to start in the middle. You got KJ Cloyd, who people kind of forget about him. Listen, another 6'2", 225-pound guy who can run a 4.4, supposedly. We've been missing that. We've been missing speed and athleticism at the position. He's a veteran. He was going to be high on the depth chart. Louisville coming up this year. He could have pushed for starting snaps. Now he's here. So KJ Cloyd was a nice pickup, guys. Malik Bryant, Popo Aguirre, Marcellus Pulliam, all 6'2" and above. Marcellus Pulliam, I think, is 6'3". All 220 and above, can all run. None of them are really like, TJ Capers, who, he's reclassing, he's going to Louisville. Elite player, more of a thumper. These guys aren't thumpers. These guys can stop the run and cover sideline to sideline. So that room has changed tenfold as far as the ability. Are we going to see it right away? I think so. Chase Smith, that could change everything if he's healthy. I know he's close to coming back. Please let that man be healthy. 6'4", 230, and can run like a deer. Like, he covers sideline to sideline effortlessly. So that linebacker room, the cornerback room, the offensive line room, 3 rooms that are going to look totally different this year. Wide receiver as well. Don't forget, Bobby Washington. Thank you. Fish fan Miami. Bobby Washington, another dude that impressed a lot in the spring. 6'3", 220 plus. Athletic, fast, long. A lot to be excited about here, guys. We'll end on this, Tattoo Terry. What if I told you the linebacker, leading tackler last year, may play a supporting role. Flag is great depth. I agree with you that Flag is quality depth. He should be starting, but he's quality depth, which you need. You need those smart guys that can rotate in and fill those voids when a Malik Bryant, a Maui Goa has to sit for a series to catch his breath, So those guys can't play every snap. You got to rotate. Those guys got to catch their breath, conserve their energy, so we don't get hurt and you have a ton of injuries at the end of the year. Hopefully we stack it up in recruiting. Vincent Shavers, good, but we need more. We'll get more. I feel pretty good about Chris Cole. That family connection with Rohan Marley, but we'll see. I think he's their top target right now, linebacker. Let me see if I missed any really good questions that I'll hit really quick before I get off. Cristobal usually flips one high recruit from another team like Citizen last year. Yes, he does. Is there anyone that you know of is on the radar? I know about FSU wide receiver, Florida linebacker, anybody else? Is the FSU wide receiver you're talking about Lawayne McCoy? Sorry. Because to me, he's been on flip watch since the second he committed to FSU. They're building that relationship. I think Lawayne McCoy is someone I would look at. I can't name somebody right now off the top of my head, but on the D-line, on edge rusher, if maybe we can't grab a Colin Simmons or a David Stone, they're talking to other guys. Rest assured, they're doing everything in their power to bring in an elite defensive line. They already got Artavius Jones, who's, I think his ceiling is absolutely through the effing roof. Freak athlete. Marquise Lightfoot, similar. You already got two elite guys right there. Marquise Lightfoot, I think, a little bit more developmental. He's a little more raw, but he's going to be a player. Just got to add a couple more, and I think they will. Let's see. What did I miss? I answered the JB question. I want to see excitement for the players after we score any TD or sack. All the great teams are always celebrating each other. Seems like only our guys only celebrate with a friend on the team. Yeah, I don't know if I've noticed that myself, but I definitely want to see more togetherness from this team. One thing you notice from the 2017 team is they were pretty together. Yes, they won a lot of games, and that helps. But, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Were they winning because of that, or was they doing that because they were winning? Let's see. Lawayne McCoy. Ellis Robinson. I knew there was an edge rusher. I'm like, I know there's somebody they're looking at. Yes, Ellis Robinson, the surprise guest at the barbecue, of course. We have a chance at both of them. So that would be very Cristobal of Mario Cristobal to land those two. Birdstone, yes, smash that like button. And yeah, please hit that like button. Ian Coleman, yes, find something you love, give him a hug. And I will be back on tomorrow. So thank guys for tuning in. Enjoy your Friday night, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.